Hello, my name is Hellfire695, and I'm doing a video response to the latest Obama video I've seen 1 year ago. And it's a video talking about his year in presidency. And, well, what has he really done in the past year for America? I mean, he put this stimulus package in. It was $780 billion. You know, that's a very high number. It's a very high number to give to the banks that started this whole economic recession in the first place. I mean, on all the regulations that he put in were the regulations that were there before Bush was in. All those new regulations you see coming in now were already in up until 2003 when they repealed the Glass-Steagall Act. And yeah, but there's other concerning things as well I want to talk about for a minute. And this is an interesting thing that I've seen in the video, is how he's talking about how he kept Organize America together after his campaign, which was an organization formed for his campaign, which to me sounds a lot like his personal propaganda machine, if you ask me. I mean, he had these guys make 315,000 phone calls in one day to Congress to support his health care bill. That's harassing Congress. There's no two ways to cut it. 315,000 phone calls one day. He's trying to harass Congress into passing his health care reform bill. Okay? And the health care reform in itself isn't so bad. But here's the problem. Good idea at the wrong time. The states can't afford it right now. I mean, since this bailout bill came in, the debt has ballooned up to $9 trillion. Okay? And he's still supporting troops in Iraq, which he was supposed to withdraw. But that timeline seems to be getting longer and longer and longer. I mean, I understand that takes time, but, you know. And, yeah, here's how I'm going to say that the states can't afford it right now. Okay, I live in Canada, where we've had universal health care for years, since the 1960s. Okay, I make less than $25,000 a year, but I pay $100 every 2 weeks in income tax. On top of that, I pay 13% sales tax on everything I buy. Okay, and with all that tax, healthcare takes up, in any given 1 year, anywhere between 1/3 and 1/2 of the working Canadian budget for the government. That's not going towards paying off interest on loans and whatnot. So, it's taken up half the budget for us, Canada, but we don't have that kind of a $9 trillion deficit to pay off, nor are we supporting troops in Iraq and Afghanistan, so we don't have the defense spending either. And we have way more taxes than you do. So, to put this healthcare reform in now could very easily topple the House of Cards. To be honest. And you talk about, Obama talks about change, but what has he really changed? I mean, he's this big defender for civil liberties, but yet he only seems to be extending what Bush did to get rid of the civil liberties. I mean, he said, and I quote this, "I taught constitutional law for years, and I am committed to defending the Constitution of America." Unquote. Okay? That is a quote from Barack Obama himself during his campaign. But yet, in 2007, he co-sponsored the bill to make warrantless wiretapping legal, as well as he voted to renew the Patriot Act, which means that you can be arrested at any time as long as you're suspected of being a terrorist, and you'll never see a lawyer, you'll never see a trial, you don't have to be charged, and you're lucky if they'll even let you call your family. I mean, okay, he made torture illegal, as far as I can tell. But he hasn't really shown a valid birth certificate either, which kind of makes him not even the real president of the United States, if you think about it. I mean, there's a case I'd like to mention here, and that was the case, I think the guy's name was Alan Cook, and it was down in Alabama, and this guy was a reservist due to be sent to Iraq, I do believe, and he didn't want to go. He challenged his order that he put in to be sent out on the grounds that Barack Obama was not the legitimate president of the United States, and that if this guy went over there to Iraq, he could actually be charged with war crimes because Obama is not the legitimate president. And then they told him he didn't have to go. Why? Well, apparently a reservist can go back on the application to be sent for a tour of duty until the tour of duty actually begins. So, yeah. I mean, you want change? How about what's going on with the Federal Reserve? Former President of the Federal Reserve, Timothy Geithner, is, right now, the Secretary of Treasury. Okay? But yet the Federal Reserve the Federal Reserve loans all American money to the American government at interest, therefore making it impossible to pay back, and also they control all of the monetary policy in the United States, and they're a privately owned company. That's not very democratic. But Obama doesn't talk about changing this. No, he talks about changing healthcare. So he gets his little propaganda machine together, called Organize America, to harass Congress into passing his bill. You know, maybe it would actually be possible for, to do something like let Congress make their own decisions. I mean, that would work better if, you'd actually done all this stuff that, if he'd actually done all the stuff that he was saying about getting rid of lobbying and stuff like that. But no, that didn't come. Couldn't be because the lobbyists have too much power now, could it? I mean, you could have got rid of them in an executive order, though. Like Rex 85 and whatnot. All those ones about the FEMA camps that have been signed by various presidents. You could have used something like one of those. Anyway, that's enough about me going on. I will say one thing, though. When any political leader is praised in the media like he's some kind of god, that should bring alarm bells in your mind. Because dissension is the greatest form of patriotism. And to be critical of a president or any political leader is the job of a media in democracy. Their job is not to praise them, their job is to criticize them. Point out errors where they miss it. Reminds me of the John F. Kennedy speech, The President and the Press. One of the best speeches I've ever seen. Anyway, that's enough about my rambling. And peace out.